Certain political remarks may be contrary to the truth. This video is prohibited for those under 40 years old. Following this video, the speaker was removed from his position. To continue reading, please enter your regional identity number.
Hello, we welcome you to an internet channel called Perspectives. We are live. Can you briefly introduce yourself?
My name is Bauer, former high-ranking officer of the former NATO, now better known as the Western Bloc Army. I became spokesperson for the Army in the European region at the end of the Great War. And today, I am a diplomat and a fervent defender of lasting peace between us and the Asian bloc, and everyone needs it after the cataclysm we have experienced all these years. I remind all war lovers that over the last 25 years, more than 2/3 of the world's population have been wiped off the face of the earth. So today I am working for peace between the Western Bloc and the Eastern Bloc, as they say.
Where are we? In your opinion, this lasting peace, as you say, is possible under what conditions? The impoverishment of the people of the West, the submission of our elites to the technological and commercial power of the Eastern Bloc. What is lasting peace? What is the price we have to pay?
I would be less pessimistic than you. Moreover, I have just come out of a very positive meeting which promises a permanent resolution of the conflict sooner than expected between Western diplomats and Eastern diplomats. Here it's exclusive for your channel and for your community. It's a gift.
It will be a gift when it really comes true. But it's nice to think of us, thank you. Let's come back to you briefly, Admiral. In January of 2024, you announced, as a senior NATO officer, that a war between the late European Union and the late Russia was imminent. You already said at the time that European governments should prepare for this eventuality and that populations should start thinking about mobilizing. I quote, "Peace is not a sure thing. This is why we are preparing for a conflict against Russia." You also said, "But the debate is broader than that. The industrial fabric and the people must understand the role they will have to play." You added, "We must build a system where most people invest in times of war. We must therefore talk about mobilizations, reservists, and conscriptions. On the industrial side, we will have to rely on a viable base that can produce arms and munitions as quickly as possible to keep pace with the war."
Can we answer you, or will I leave you to your monologue?
You can answer, and I reassure you, here we give time to all our guests. I'm just going to ask my question. What did we screw up? Why didn't we listen to you to prevent this horror which actually happened? Why did we not start discussions with the Eastern Bloc? These former countries that we called at that time Ukraine or Taiwan, and which were clearly the first warning shots for everyone, the first test countries of the border between the Western Bloc and the Eastern Bloc.
We did everything to ensure that the former European Union and Western countries in general understood and took their responsibilities. I remember that I insisted on doing that press conference in which you quoted me. It was complicated, and I can tell you that neither the governments then nor those in place today aspired or aspire to be knowingly blind. We are talking about human lives.
Speaking of human lives and ophthalmology, still in January 2024, the German military gave us a disaster scenario so concise and detailed that if blindness was not the cause of this catastrophe, then stupidity was. Potential attack by Russia in February 2024 against NATO countries, escalating during the presidential elections of the late U.S. country. These words came from the German defense minister in documents which had accidentally leaked. I'm not talking about a conspiracy theorist, a fan of survivalism and who lives deep in the asshole of the world, armed to the teeth and eating only tubers. And I'm not talking about just any German newspaper. I'm talking about Bild. I quote the report which already predicted World War III in the summer of 2024 as if it were a trailer for the final season of Game of Thrones. Have you ever seen Game of Thrones?
No, I do not know. What is that?
Okay, let's move on. So, the report said, 1. Russia would carry out cyber attacks from July 2024, mainly against the Baltic countries. Clashes are developing, and Russia decides to begin military exercises throughout its territory and that of Belarus. 2. The situation deteriorates in October 2024 when Russia decides to deploy its troops and its medium-range missiles in Kaliningrad. 3. From December 2024, an artificially constructed border conflict causing numerous deaths takes place in the Suwalki corridor. 4. This is where, just like in 2014, Russia invades NATO countries, while the USA is in the middle of a presidential election. 5. After May 2025, NATO deploys 300,000 soldiers on the eastern flank, including 30,000 soldiers from the German military corps. Within a few months, this scenario became reality, and we experienced the horror that we lived. As a result, it is not a question of government blindness, since the former great power of the former European Union had even described step by step what was going to happen.
Listen, you just have to invite the former German Minister of Defense to ask him these questions.
He's dead now.
Well, I'm still in this world, so ask me questions about the positions I've filled and the one I hold today. But I will never pretend to be everyone's spokesperson. So go ahead, ask me a question related to my 2024 position as a senior NATO officer.
All right. Did you and your military organization, NATO, provoke this fucking World War III? Are you not yourselves lovers who caused the suppression of more than 2/3 of the population? Apart from stirring hot air and sculpting smoke, who are you, what do you do, and above all, what have you done? So let's do it again. Hello, we welcome you to an internet channel called Perspectives. Can you briefly introduce yourself?